Water parks are meant to be places of fun, laughter, and escape from the heat, but sometimes they become the setting for unimaginable tragedy. Here are 5 of the most disturbing water park deaths ever recorded. A 10-year-old boy named Caleb Schwab lost his life in one of the most horrifying accidents ever recorded at a water park, turning what was meant to be a fun family outing into an unimaginable tragedy. Caleb had visited the Schlitterbahn Water Park in Kansas City with his family in 2016. Like many children his age, he was excited to try the park's biggest attraction, a massive water slide known as Verrückt. The ride had gained worldwide attention for being the tallest water slide ever built, towering at around 168 feet. Riders would sit in multi-person rafts, plunge down a steep drop at extreme speeds, travel over a large uphill section, and then descend again before reaching the pool below. It was designed to deliver an intense thrill, attracting visitors from all over. On that day, Caleb and his older brother made their way to the top of the towering structure. There was nothing unusual about the moment. Countless people had already taken the same ride, and it was marketed as safe despite its extreme design. However, what happened next would expose serious flaws behind the attraction. As Caleb's raft began its descent, it quickly picked up speed. When it reached the second hill, something went terribly wrong. The raft became airborne, lifting off the slide instead of staying in contact with the surface as intended. This loss of control caused Caleb to strike a metal support structure that was part of the ride's overhead safety netting. The impact resulted in fatal injuries, and he died instantly on the ride. The incident shocked not only the people present at the park, but also the wider public as details began to emerge. Caleb's family, who had arrived together for a day of fun, were left devastated. What began as a normal outing ended with one child gone, leaving behind grief that no family could ever be prepared for. In the aftermath of the tragedy, investigations revealed deeply troubling information about how the ride had been designed and constructed. Verrückt had been conceived quickly, with the goal of creating a record-breaking attraction that would draw media attention. However, the individuals responsible for its design reportedly lacked formal qualifications in engineering or ride safety. Despite this, the project moved forward at a rapid pace. The ride had already experienced multiple delays before opening to the public in 2014, raising concerns even before the fatal incident. Once operational, there were reports of rafts going airborne during testing and early use. Instead of addressing these fundamental design issues properly, modifications such as adding netting were introduced as a solution. These measures ultimately proved insufficient. Following Caleb's death, authorities conducted a detailed investigation into the circumstances surrounding the accident. The findings suggested a pattern of negligence and poor decision-making. Legal action was taken against several individuals associated with the ride, including its designers and park officials. They faced serious charges related to the incident, reflecting the severity of the failures that led to the tragedy. The case highlighted the dangers of prioritizing entertainment and spectacle over safety. Building a ride of such scale and intensity without proper expertise created a situation where risks were not fully understood or controlled. What was promoted as an exciting innovation ultimately became a deadly hazard. The Verrückt water slide was permanently closed after the incident, and plans were later made to dismantle it entirely. The tragedy also led to increased scrutiny of amusement park safety standards, with calls for stricter regulations and oversight to prevent similar incidents in the future. Caleb Schwab's death remains one of the most disturbing examples of how a combination of flawed design, inadequate safety measures, and human error can result in catastrophic consequences. It serves as a reminder that even places designed for fun and recreation can become dangerous when proper precautions are ignored. A 14-year-old boy suffered devastating injuries in a shocking incident at a water park in Texas, turning what may have started as a reckless moment into a life-threatening ordeal. The incident took place in Galveston County at a water park in Crystal Beach. According to local authorities, the teenager had been spending time at the park when he approached one of the pool's drainage areas. These drains are designed to pull water through powerful intake systems, keeping the pools clean and functioning properly. However, they can become extremely dangerous if tampered with. Initial reports suggested that the boy may have been acting on a dare. Whether it was a challenge from friends or a moment of impulsive curiosity, he decided to interfere with the drain system. The metal grate covering the intake pipe, which is meant to act as a protective barrier, was somehow lifted. Despite being a safety feature, it appeared that the cover was not secured strongly enough to prevent removal. The teenager, described as physically large for his age, managed to lift the grate. In doing so, he lost his footing and slipped directly into the exposed intake opening. What followed was a terrifying sequence of events. The force of the water rushing through the drain created a powerful suction effect, pulling him into the pipe system. Drain suction incidents are among the most dangerous hazards in aquatic environments. Once a person is caught in the force of an active intake, escape becomes extremely difficult due to the pressure and speed of the water flow. In this case, the boy was partially drawn into the pipe, suffering severe internal trauma as a result of the suction and confinement. Fortunately, a water park employee acted quickly when the situation became apparent. The staff member immediately shut off the pump system, cutting the flow of water through the pipes. This rapid response likely saved the teenager's life. With the suction force removed, he was able to be freed from the intake. Despite his escape, the injuries he sustained were serious. Emergency services rushed him to the hospital, where he was treated for significant internal damage. The exact nature of his injuries was not fully disclosed, but officials confirmed that his condition was critical at the time. Local authorities described the incident as both tragic and deeply concerning. It raised urgent questions about safety measures in place at the water park. One of the main issues under investigation was how the drain cover could be removed so easily. Safety grates are supposed to be firmly secured to prevent exactly this kind of situation. The fact that a teenager was able to lift it suggested a possible failure in design, maintenance, or installation. The boy's family was left dealing with the emotional and physical aftermath of the event. Reports indicated that his father was a volunteer firefighter. The situation resonated widely, as it underscored how quickly a day of recreation can turn into a medical emergency. The water park owner expressed sympathy for the family but did not provide detailed comments while investigations were ongoing. Meanwhile, authorities continued to examine the circumstances surrounding the accident, focusing on both the actions that led to it and the structural safety of the facility. A festive summer event at a popular water park in Taiwan turned into a horrifying disaster when a sudden explosion and fire left hundreds of people injured, many of them with severe and life-threatening burns. The incident took place on the evening of June 27, 2015, at the Formosa Water Park, located just outside the capital city of Taipei. The park was hosting a large-scale event known as Color Play Asia, where crowds gathered near a stage to enjoy music, dancing, and a vibrant atmosphere created by the spraying of colored powder into the air. These types of events are designed to be energetic and visually striking, with participants often covered in bright powders as part of the experience. At around 8:30 in the evening, the celebration was in full swing. More than 1,000 people had gathered tightly near the stage area, enjoying the music and the lively environment. Without warning, the situation took a catastrophic turn. The colored powder that had been sprayed over the crowd suddenly ignited, triggering a rapid fire that spread through the densely packed group of people within seconds. The explosion created a massive fireball that moved quickly across the crowd, catching many completely off guard. Panic erupted almost instantly as people began screaming and scrambling to escape the flames. In the chaos, individuals collided with each other, and many fell while trying to get away, making the situation even more dangerous. The scale of the disaster became clear within minutes. More than 500 people were injured, with nearly 200 suffering serious burns. Many victims required intensive care, and a large number were left in critical condition. Emergency services were overwhelmed by the sheer number of casualties, and victims were transported to dozens of hospitals across the region. Some individuals had also inhaled the fine powder particles, which led to respiratory complications in addition to burn injuries. The combination of fire exposure and breathing difficulties made treatment even more complex for medical teams. Eyewitness accounts described a scene of complete devastation. Survivors spoke of people desperately trying to cool their burns by jumping into pools or using water wherever they could find it. Inflatable water toys, originally meant for recreation, were quickly repurposed as makeshift stretchers to carry the injured. The ground and surrounding areas were filled with chaos as emergency responders worked to assist victims. Although the fire was eventually brought under control, the damage had already been done. The focus quickly shifted to understanding how such a disaster could occur at an event meant for entertainment. Authorities began investigating the role of the colored powder, which is commonly made from materials like dried cornstarch. While generally considered safe in small amounts, this type of powder can become highly flammable when dispersed in large quantities into the air, especially in enclosed or crowded environments. Initial findings suggested that the ignition may have been triggered by heat sources near the stage, such as lighting equipment. When combined with the airborne powder, these conditions created the perfect environment for a rapid and intense fire. In response to the tragedy, local authorities took immediate action. The mayor of New Taipei City ordered the closure of the water park while a full investigation was conducted. Event organizers were also questioned as part of the inquiry into potential negligence or safety violations. This disaster became one of the most significant examples of how quickly a celebratory event can turn into a mass casualty situation when safety risks are underestimated. It served as a stark reminder of the importance of strict safety planning, proper risk assessment, and careful management of materials that can become hazardous under certain conditions. A day of family fun at a popular theme park in Wales turned into a heartbreaking tragedy when a teenage girl lost her life after falling from a high-speed water ride in front of her loved ones. The incident involved 16-year-old Hayley Williams, who had been visiting Oakwood Leisure Park with her family. The park, located in West Wales, is well known for its large attractions and draws thousands of visitors each year. On that day, Hayley boarded one of its most intense rides, known as the Hydro, a water-based attraction designed to deliver a steep and thrilling drop. The Hydro ride was considered a major highlight of the park. It featured large boats that carried multiple passengers at once, lifting them high before plunging them down a near vertical drop into a splash pool below. Riders were secured using a combination of a waist harness and a restraining bar, which were intended to keep them firmly in place throughout the experience. At some point during the ride, as the boat approached the top of the steep descent, something went terribly wrong. According to witness accounts, Hayley appeared to lean over, possibly trying to assist or check on another passenger seated beside her. In that moment, she lost her balance. Within seconds, she slipped out of her position and fell over the edge of the ride. The fall was catastrophic. She dropped approximately 120 feet from near the top of the structure into the splash pool below. During the fall, she collided with a 10-year-old boy who was also on the ride. The impact knocked him into the water, leaving him with a head injury. While his injuries were not life-threatening, the situation could have been even worse given the height and force involved. Emergency services responded quickly. An air ambulance was dispatched to the scene, and Hayley was flown to Withybush Hospital in Haverfordwest. Despite these efforts, she was pronounced dead upon arrival due to the severity of her injuries. The young boy, who had been struck during the fall, was taken to hospital by road, treated for concussion, and later discharged. The tragedy was witnessed not only by other riders but also by members of both families, adding an additional layer of emotional devastation. Police confirmed that Hayley's relatives were present at the park and saw the incident unfold. Trained officers were assigned to support the family, who were described as being in a state of deep shock and grief. Authorities immediately launched an investigation to determine how such an incident could occur. One of the key questions was how both Hayley and the young boy were able to come out of their restraints. Up until that point, the Hydro ride had maintained a strong safety record, with no previous incidents of this nature. The ride was shut down as soon as the accident occurred. However, the park itself remained open temporarily, so that investigators could identify and speak with witnesses who had been present at the time. Park management later confirmed that the Hydro would remain closed until the investigation was complete. Officials from both the police and the health and safety executive were involved in examining the circumstances. Early findings did not immediately point to a mechanical fault, but a thorough review was necessary to rule out any design or operational issues. The hydro ride had only been in operation for a couple of years and represented a significant investment for the park. Built with large, heavy boats and designed to deliver an extreme experience, it stood out as one of the most daring attractions of its kind. Its steep angle and high drop were key selling points, attracting thrill seekers looking for an intense ride. Hayley Williams' death remains a deeply distressing reminder of the potential dangers associated with extreme amusement rides, especially when unexpected circumstances arise in a matter of seconds. A tragic incident at a water park in Delhi claimed the life of a 7-year-old boy, turning a routine family outing into a heartbreaking loss that has raised serious concerns about safety and supervision. The incident took place at Just Chill Water Park, located in the Alipur area of Delhi. The young boy had gone there with his family, including his uncle and cousins, expecting to spend a fun and relaxing day. Like many families visiting such places, they gathered around the pool area, where children and adults alike were enjoying the water attractions. According to initial reports, the situation unfolded in the late afternoon at around 5 p.m. During that time, all members of the family were present within the pool area. However, in the midst of the activity and crowd, the child somehow went unnoticed and slipped into a dangerous situation in the water. It remains unclear exactly how long he was submerged, or whether anyone immediately realized that he was in distress. By the time the seriousness of the situation became apparent, the boy had already drowned. Family members rushed to pull him out of the water and immediately attempted to get medical help. He was taken as quickly as possible to a nearby medical facility, Param Nursing Home in Kundli, located in the neighboring district of Sonipat. Despite these efforts, doctors at the hospital declared that the child had already died before arrival. The news came as a devastating shock to the family, who had only hours earlier been spending time together in what was supposed to be a safe, recreational environment. In the aftermath of the incident, the boy's uncle informed his father about the tragedy. The grieving family then made the decision to take the child's body back home and proceed with burial rites. At that moment, authorities were not immediately informed about what had happened, which delayed the official response to the incident. It was only later that the case came to the attention of the police. Officers at Alipur police station received information regarding the drowning, prompting them to initiate formal action. A first information report was subsequently registered under the relevant legal provisions of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. With the case now officially recorded, investigators have begun examining the circumstances that led to the boy's death. Authorities are expected to look into several key aspects, including the level of supervision at the water park, the presence and attentiveness of lifeguards, and whether proper safety measures were in place at the time. Drowning incidents in crowded recreational water settings often occur silently and quickly, especially when young children are involved. Even a brief lapse in attention can have fatal consequences. This case highlights how easily a child can become vulnerable in an environment that appears safe on the surface. This tragic loss has once again brought attention to the importance of strict safety protocols in water parks and similar venues. Adequate supervision, clear safety guidelines, and rapid emergency response systems are critical in preventing such incidents. For families, it also serves as a painful reminder of how crucial constant vigilance is when children are near water.